Okay, so that gives you quite a background history of why we're in shock and awe about the unscientific stupidity that is being put in our schools, in our businesses, across our world. And we are basically being told that either we comply or we're going to begin seeing the consequences of all of this. And people are now having their eyes opened, and in record numbers, I would say, are beginning to rebel. We have a lot of people taking their children out of schools, and we have people starting new political parties in order to fight back. And that leads us to our guest today. His name is Amrit Birring. He has started a new Freedom Party in British Columbia. It's called the Freedom Party BC. And this all came about because he had interest in what was going on in our world and why all of this was happening. Amrit, we welcome you to the show. And I'm very grateful that you've had to wait a very long time in order to lay the base, but I hope this helps for people to understand how deep and how important this fight is. And I'm sure that the Freedom Party is probably not just about this issue, but I'd love to get into the background of what brought you to literally start a new Freedom Party in BC.
Yes, thanks Laura-Lynn for having me here. So I was just a regular person doing my job, spending time with family until 2021 federal elections, and I stood as PPC member of parliament from Surrey Fleetwood. And at that time, I did jump into politics because the things that I have been noticing going on in Canada, it's basically going downhill step by step. And I have been brought up in India, and I would say anyone who has lived in Asia or Africa or South America, you know how governments work, you know how tyranny works, how corruption works. There are certain techniques how to control human beings and how to rule upon them. And that's exactly what's coming here step by step. So I can see the end game. That's why it infuriates me even more because some people who have always been in Canada, for them it's unthinkable, and they see what's the next step comes, but they don't know what's the next 10 steps are. Well, we can see that, and that's very horrific. So that made me come into politics in 2021. And in 2022, I stood as a Surrey mayor's candidate, and I floated a new People's Council Surrey and fielded five council candidates. So I participated in a lot of debates with other mayoral candidates, and you can very clearly see either they have no clue or what they talk has nothing to do with people's issues. They are bought out and paid for by forces, and they are just dummies and puppets. Same goes for provincial MLAs and federal MPs. So after Surrey elections, and I spoke with a lot of people, and they all know the truth. It just their elected representative don't talk about that. So come 2023, I made up my mind to focus, to dedicate my life basically on it. And I floated a new BC provincial party. It's called Freedom Party of British Columbia. It came in January 2023, and we have all the freedom agenda in it. But the most dear to me is the sexualization of children in schools. And that's because if you destroy children's mind early on, then you have no hope left, because we old gods will be gone in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and those new generation will take charge. And if they are already destroyed, then who will fight for them? I mean, they don't even know that anything to fight, because that will be norm for them. So that's why we are focusing on SOGI and sexualization of children in schools. We are doing bi-weekly rallies. We started with Surrey. Our last rally was on March 25th. We were 20 of us in Surrey and there were 50 members of counter protesters, 40 of them uh, gay community, LGBTQ, and 10 of them were trained Antifa members, all black clad, top to bottom, with backpacks and their pockets stuffed, I don't know by what. And we had 8 cops separating us and them. Otherwise, they were just aggressively moving towards us. I don't know uh, intending to do what. So there were RCMP, Surrey Police Service, and Delta Police, because that intersection is a border of Surrey and Delta. So 3 police services and 8 cops, they constantly kept them separate. And all that time, they kept shouting, F of fascist, F of fascist, full word of F. And they did not come there spontaneously. There are bigger forces who are controlling them and sending them there. So from one of the LGBT community member, we got a little paper which was given to all of them, which the person was not supposed to give to us because it's a secret, but he was naive, probably beginner. So that paper had my picture on it with a handgun and telling LGBT community how we are coming after them, and basically they're using these things to incite them and use them as a front end. So that's that. But we are having another rally on April 8th, that's Saturday as well, at same place. And we hope to have 100 to 200 people this time. And the reason for rallies is we had written to education minister alleging that children are being shown pornographic books in schools. They are encouraged to change their sex. They are being shown drag queen shows. They are being told, do not tell these things at home because your parents are not your friend and we are your friends. They are encouraged to have puberty blockers. Laws have been passed that if a parent counsels their children, they can go to jail with fine. So that's the infrastructure built by government to orchestrate that. And they are having $1 billion industry has been set up to do sex change surgeries. So this whole thing is working in concert, and it's a systematic, orchestrated. It's not spontaneous thing. There are forces hidden behind it who are pushing it because they are out to destroy society. And when you combine SOGI education with digital IDs, surveillance state, forced vaccination, can't leave your home, and frozen bank accounts, and now internet censorship. So you see, it's a systematic, orchestrated takedown of Canada is happening right in front of our eyes, and it's uh, it's done by globalist forces. Our government is just their tool. All MP MLAs, they are just puppets. They don't make any decisions anymore. Their job is, when a bill is presented, either you say yes to it or you will be thrown out of the party, which Justin Trudeau did do to one or two of them. So that set the example and blueprint. And that's where we are. And they are not going to stop at it. They have all the blueprint until they turn us into a failed South American kind of country. And so that's why, in order to fight this, petitions have been signed and small rallies have been done, but they all have been effective because our opponents, that's government, they each time they up their game. If you match them, then they go to next level. If you match them, and they have all the power, money, resources, and we commoners, we can just veer out and get tired and we sit down. So that's the game they are playing. So in order to counter that, I found I founded Freedom Party of British Columbia, because under a political power you can unite a lot of other forces. You can unite people of different groups and faiths, and SOGI is our number one focus right now. So we hope to present a united front against the tyranny of government. That's the idea.
Amrit, I am so moved by your explanation and your fight and your understanding of what we're actually fighting right now. Because you're 100% correct, and people have been screaming from the hilltops, but Canadians have been somewhat apathetic on this. But I think the events, even of this last week, are showing that this is a concerted effort to change our society and to indoctrinate our children into a completely different set of values and perspective on sexuality and gender. And it somehow has found itself at the very core of what we are all fighting. And it could be that we won't be able to speak on this much longer. We won't be able to fight this much longer. And when you talk about this April 8th rally, I wonder, could you tell me the exact location that people could prepare themselves perhaps to stand with you?
Yes, it's in Surrey, intersection of Scott Road and 76th Avenue.
Okay.
There's a large area to stand there. About 100 people can fit in there easily.
Mm-hmm.
And we plan to do march there in the neighboring areas. We will have flyers to distribute, educating about SOGI and indoctrination inside schools. And we will continue to do it every other week. Um, that's the plan, and uh, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I am so grateful for your passion, Amrit. Are you a father as well?
Yes, I have two kids, 17 and 19. They are gone, they are past the school. 17 will
God,
graduate this summer.
nobody
But
wants their
then,
kids in school anymore.
yeah, but we are not doing it for our own kid. It's the entire society. There won't be much left of country if this agenda
You're fighting for everyone.
succeeds. Yeah, and the freedom, this children, this is the your bodily autonomy, which they want to take away. This sense of being yourself. So what gives us strength? Like, I'm a man, I'm a woman, I believe in religion, I have a family, brother, sister, parents. So these are the things that makes up a society, and that empowers us to live our life. So there's a reason why they want to take all this away: your sexual identity, your religion, your family values. So it's a plain clear in a day, in a that
It really is.
they want to finish you as an individual. So you are some part of group and you have no identity. Government tells you and you do it. You are a lost cause, and that's it. That's the end goal.
That's it. And Amri, do you see it all being tied into this digital ID? For one thing, we know that the federal Liberals are setting up for central bank digital currency. And it's in this latest 2023 budget that the Liberals are putting out for the country to have a look at. They've got this CBDC, central bank digital currency. They have funds allocated for it. In fact, 17.7 million was put towards this initiative. And despite there being a large portion of Canadians objecting to this move, the Liberals have alluded to their CBDC plans in the 2023 budget. A little quieter this time, but it looks like it's going that way. Do you think all of this is tied in to the tyranny that you spoke of when you began today that is headed our way?
Yes, totally. You might have heard of one ring to control all rings. So digitization is that ring. If you digitize everything and tie that to people's IDs with the services they are given, now someone sitting in front of a computer can check or uncheck things, services that's available to you, and that's how they control you. So that's the infrastructure they are building to ultimately do that. I mean, it's the digitization itself is only science, but the issue is it will be used against us. Just like a sword is sword, but it's who uses it on who. And currently, governments are in charge and they are evil. So it's a guaranteed that they are putting this infrastructure just as a trial balloon, 17 million now, maybe 200 million next budget, and 4 billion, and it's a full control. So definitely they all are tied. Nothing this government is doing at present is good for us. Whether we understand now or not, whether we'll understand down the road, but that's guaranteed. They are out to get us.
I just appreciate you standing so much, Amrit, and I support you 100%. And I hope that people will join your party. It would be nice to get large numbers together. I
Yeah,
appreciate the sentiment that is behind this, and that you even took the time to write to the Minister Rakna Singh, Minister of Education and Childcare in British Columbia, and you took
yeah.
the time to say that there is vile, sexually explicit and pornographic books are available to children and youth through the schools, and you have brought this to their attention, and you are concerned about the early sexualization of children. And you're right on the same page as our listeners. People are saying in the feed, God bless you. They are grateful for you, and we really are standing with you. Any last word you'd like to say? How can we sign up for your party?
We have a website, freedompartybc.ca. You can go and check out our platform, and we post the videos of events that we do. So best way to support us is become a party member. It's only $40 membership fee for 4 years, and since there's a tax credit of 75%, so you get 75% back once you file the tax. More members we have, more strength we will have to do more activities on a bigger scale, and we want to reach all the BC, northern BC, interior BC, everything, and unite. I know there are a lot of like-minded people. It just they don't have a voice because the existing parties they are just bought out. They don't care. So we want to stick our neck out and say things that are right. Everyone knows, but no one dares to say that. So I take it upon me. I will say anything that is truth, fearless, and whatever happens, happens.
I am so grateful for you, Emery. You are a new hero in Canada, and I thank you for standing and for doing what you can do as one person. It's amazing. And I hope that all Canadians listening to this, there will be thousands of viewers over the next few days seeing this video. We encourage you, we applaud you, we thank you. And the one thing we can all do is stand together, show up, do what your part can be to stand against this, because uh, we have a war on our hands in a way.
Yes, there is strength in numbers, and there's a reason why government actively uses techniques to keep us divided. So they know that, so they try us not to unite, but our aim is to unite people,
To unite and to protect the children.
protect the
Thank you,
children.
Amrit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura-Lynn. Thank you for wonderful job that you are doing.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So there's somebody comes from a different country, comes to Canada because he loves this land and the freedom here, and he is free to raise his children in his beliefs. And now the assault is on, and he sees that there's a problem, and he's doing something about it. If we all did our part. Thanks for joining me.